What's going on, everyone? You are now tapped in with the Stamper Podcast. What's going on, everyone? I have a very special guest in the building today, someone whose content is very incredible, someone that's doing very great things in the notary space. We have Nguyen of Team Signings. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, it is such a blessing to be here. This is my first podcast. I love all your content. I wish I could be as funny as you. Okay. You're super cool. You're like, the guy at a party and like the popular guy and everyone's just chilling with you. Like, I'm so happy to be interviewed or interviewed. Yep. I don't know what's the correct term, but interviewed by someone like you. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor, man. This is this is a long time in the making. I'm finally happy we were able to get this thing started, make this happen, right? So before we get started, how is your day going?
Yeah, my days. Well, I don't want to say good because okay, I have nothing to complain about. But I'm not gonna lie, like I'm pretty stressed. I don't know why, but like I always feel like it's never enough. Like I could always do better. And I think that just comes with being like an entrepreneur and a business owner. Like what can I do best to optimize? So I'm currently dealing with like trying to figure out like how to be happy with what I have going on, looking like what I've created so far, right? And then just being very grateful with where I'm at. I mean, I am, but it's like I just feel so stressed. Like I can't just be in the moment. So to answer your question, I'm doing good. All right. I'm doing great.
Awesome. Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. We have, as entrepreneurs, we have this goal to accomplish just one thing, and then we accomplish it. And it's like we don't even give ourselves time to relax. Say, okay, now we done this. All right, what's next? Because we always got to keep going. We can't get satisfied. We can't look at the scoreboard. So we always got to continue to push ourselves to keep going, because that 1 minute we get complacent, I mean, time flies by, and it's something else, another problem that presents itself that we got to take care of, right? So appreciate you for sharing that.
You put that perfectly. That, yeah.
So what I always like to ask is, just starting out, just introduce yourself, introduce yourself, and how'd you get into the notary business in general?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I always get kind of nervous when people ask me like, introduce yourself. Who are you? Because I'm trying to figure that out myself. So my name is Angel. Some people call me Angelina, and then that's when I cringe so hard. So please don't call me Angelina. But yeah, my name's Angel. I'm from San Jose, the Bay Area. I grew up most of my life here, and I started being a notary on January 20th, 2021. I remember that day because you'll never forget your first signing. That's like the most sweat I've ever poured out in my life, the most stressful day ever, probably. And the way I got started, my dad, he's a real estate agent. He doesn't sell houses anymore. It's like very few and far in between. And he's getting to that age where the man needs to retire, And so he was like, hey, Angel, like you're not going to college. And that's fine, but you gotta do something, right? So I was working at my aunt's insurance agency shop, and I call her my aunt, but that's my dad's friend. Mm-hmm. And then I just wanted to do something. I just didn't want to stay at home, or I just wanted to at least be in the office. I love doing office work. And so I was there, and my dad was like, just do notary, my friend that he did, like an escrow officer that he worked with and did transaction on, he saw the notary fee, and he was like, you might be able to do some money with some notary, right? And I was like, okay, Dad. And I just started looking up one late night, and I was like, little signing system, okay. And I was intrigued, and I saw Mark's energy. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And then that's how it got started for me. Thanks, Dad.
Shout out to Dad.
Shout out to Dad. Yeah.
Now you say you was in the insurance agency. What was it, like life insurance, property and casualty, or was some of the work you were doing?
Yeah, it was property and casualty, like house, car, all that jazz. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I've worked there. It's a lot of notaries that I work with that double as a PNC agent that work in the home, setting up homeowners insurance and auto policies for their clients, but also double as a notary as well.
Yeah, it's a tough business. Yeah. It's really tough.
Yeah. That's man. I was in the financial services industry, selling life insurance, and man, that is a hard industry to be a part of.
Oh my gosh, how was that for you? Are you still doing that now?
No, I don't do it now. What I do now is if I get anyone that needs that needs to get a policy set up, I just end up referring it out to a couple of my guys that actually do it. But yeah, it's a real tough industry because it's mostly it's sort of like it's sort of like the notary industry in a sense where it's pretty much relationship based. It's like, hey,
Right.
you first start off, it's like, hey, set up your P200, right? You got to make a list of 200 people, whether it's friends or family. And that was like the most awkwardest thing. You reaching out to your family members like, hey, I'm selling life insurance. Hey, do you want to sit and have a conversation? So it's a lot of language, it's a lot of sales language involved just to just to book the appointment. So a lot of
Oh, sorry, no, sorry, finish.
No, just saying, it's pretty stressful. But I think after a couple of years, if it's for you, then yeah, it's a business for it can, it can be profitable. But for me, I was like, nah, I didn't have the patience to sit around and people no showing and booking
Oh
some
man.
networking meetings. So salute to y'all that can do that, right?
Definitely, for sure. Yeah, that's tough.
And then, so before coming into the notary, did you come from like an entrepreneurial background? I know you saying your dad was a real estate agent. Any other family members that had their own businesses or just had their own work in a profession or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, my mom, she had her own nail salon, but now that I think about it, no, my family, we're not really close with the rest of our other family members, so I don't really know who else that I know that's an entrepreneur or business owner. Mm-hmm. So I think I got it from my parents for sure. Yeah, my dad, definitely 100%. My mom's cool with me being an employee, and she's like, you should work at an office, Angel, like a 9 to 5. I think that would suit you. I was like, no.
Now, what was that? And that's interesting. You brought that up. Like, what was that conversation like when you did tell your mom and your dad, like, yo, this is something I want to know. The notary industry, this is something that I want to dabble into, and I think I can make this a real career or a real business out of this. What was that conversation like?
Oh my gosh, Rafael, I love that you asked that because I can remember it as clear as day. Like it literally looks like this weather right now. We were sitting on the couch in the family room. I was telling them it was a bunch of moments that came to this morning where I just walked out of my bedroom. I went to the family where they were sitting and I was like, hey, mom and dad, I'm going to go to my aunt's insurance agency to work, like started to go to work. And I was like, I'm getting really tired, like having to go to, my aunt's insurance agency, having to run to an appointment, dropping dogs off, then having to be back at the insurance agency at a certain time. Like it's getting kind of dangerous to the point where like I'm rushing to all these places and driving kind of fast, right? And so I'd rather just do notary 100%, not have to worry about being at my aunt's insurance agency shop. And my aunt was never the type to tell me like, you have to be here at a certain time. It's just, I didn't want to let her down, right? I want to give her great work. Like I want to be a great worker to her, right? She deserves it. And so I just felt like I was doing her disservice if I wasn't there for her at the office because she's a boss lady. She needs to do other things, right? And I need to be at her office manning it. And so anyways, I was telling my parents that. My mom was like, are you sure you want to? She was kind of like doubtful, which is okay. She's just looking out for me. My mom was like, are you sure? Because like, you have something to fall back on. You have like multiple streams of income. And she's not saying it like this, but she's into that fact. She's like, you want to have something to fall back on. And I don't know if you can do this, notary full time. And my dad was like Angel, you can do this. Like, if you want to quit, you know? But he's also siding with my mom too. Cause this is wifey, he's got to support her. So he's more leaning towards me like Angel, you can do this. If you want to do it, quit, but you got to go all in. I was like, yeah, definitely. That's me for sure. All in.
I love that you had such a strong support system going into this. That's not always the case for most people. You hear the stories of people that want to start their own business, and it's either mom. Like shout out to the moms out there. We understand you're concerned for your child. Like at the same time, like sometimes you gotta take some risk in life, right? You got to be able to take that chance on yourself to see if you can actually turn this thing into a reality and manifest what it is that you're trying to accomplish, right? So that's really big that you had a real support system coming into the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of worried. I think my mom came from the place because, with real estate, I was a real estate agent before being a notary, before the insurance agency shop. Mm-hmm. And my mom and dad, when I wasn't doing any sales, they were like, see, Angel, you should just go back to college. Like you can't really make it out here. And so I was scared being full-time as notary, like having that fear in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I really like notary. It's really fun. And I just need 2 a day to make 100,000 a year. That's it. Anything more is just icing on the top.
Yeah.
So it just made sense to me.
Nice. Now, now you say you was a real estate agent, right?
Yeah, I was a real estate agent. Yeah, for probably a little under a year.
Yeah.
2020 pandemic.
Now, do you think that experience in that field prepared you for what was to come in the notary business?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like if you've been a real estate agent, you've been through it. Like it really tests you mentally, especially when you are really shy and then you have to put yourself out there and you only eat what you kill, right? So I love that I went through that time because I feel like I brought that survivor, hustler, 100% mentality to notary, which a lot of notaries aren't thinking like a real estate agent. So I feel like I kind of blended those two in. Yeah. And I can kind of like understand like why real estate agents do the things they do and how I can speak their language.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, speaking of your first signing, what was that first signing like? What was some of those nerves going into there? What was that whole
Bro,
like?
Don't bring me back, man. I was trying to forget about it. It was at night. I was kind of scared because it was like in the hood, and I can like it was. I don't know if you guys, anyone from San Jose, if you live on Center, and I used to live on Center for about 10 years. If you live on Center, you know like it's a straight hood. Like it's scary out there. Okay, so I was in that area. I was like, fuck, I'm so scared. Oh, sorry, am I not allowed to cuss?
Be good.
Okay. I was like, oh, okay, like it's fine. And then I was like, okay, it's really dark. Okay, I'm gonna park. Okay, good. There's all these people in the front. It was all his family. And then I realized I needed to do was it the X where they can't draw an X, their signatures, they have to do an X. Yeah. That's some of the things that like you think will never happen to you as a notary, because you're studying for your notary license, right? You're like, oh, that's probably never gonna happen to me, like having the person having to do an X, needing 2 witnesses and having to document it correctly in your journal. And then that was my first signing.
Really?
Yeah, so I forgot my phone in my car, which worked out really well because I was like, oh, you can't do your you can't write like sign your signature. Okay, be right back. I forgot my phone in the car. So I run in my car and I'm like, oh my God, I only have like 1 minute to go on NNA.com and figure out how to do signature by mark. And I was like learning how to do it in a couple minutes. And I walk in with my phone. I'm like, oh, thanks for waiting. Yeah, let's get started with the signing. Like I'm trying to act cool, right? Yeah. I don't have a table. I've got this little stool, so I don't feel comfortable. I've got like my journal on my lap. It's like kind of falling to the side. You know that feeling, right? When they don't have a table for you.
Man, I've been there. Ooh, man. I'll tell the story at the you done, but yeah, I would tell about an experience I've dealt with, like sort of similar to that.
Yeah, please don't forget to tell us the story. And then like, we're going through, and then like there are some things that I don't really understand the paperwork. And I remember before the signing, I was trying to call the client to like get explanations on certain documents, and the man didn't pick up. And he's a lawyer, so I kind of understand. So not a lawyer, but a legal technician. And so I was like, okay, I'm really gonna have to learn this all on my own. And I feel like I missed a lot of stuff, right? And so that signing took about 2 hours. And it was all video recorded. And then I went home. Sorry, before I go on to when I went home and started crying, did you have any questions?
I mean, no, I was on. That's man, 2 hours for your first sign. You had to do a signature by Mark. What are the chances of that happening?
I know, that was fun. I wonder if they're like, why is this girl sweating so much?
Right, because like that first time around, like, yeah, I mean, what are the chances that you really think you would come across, your first signing signature by Mark? Because I had a similar signing like that before, where it wasn't my first time around, but the customers, they let me know ahead of time, it's like, hey, the signer has difficulty writing. Is there a way where we can, accommodate him? I mean, lucky for me, I still knew that law. I was like, yeah, we could do a signature by Mark. Just need to have 2 credible witnesses there, and they just need to fill in the journal, and it will be all set. So thankfully, I still knew that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of just saying like, no, I can't, right?
Yeah, because there will be some notaries who'll be like, nah, I don't think we can do that. They'll weasel their way out of that one for sure. But instead of just taking
definitely, or like maybe they just don't know and they just missed out on some money there.
Facts,
Yeah.
Like I said, you leave a lot of money on the table by not taking on that problem, right? Because you know when you're able to solve a problem like that, when you can accommodate that, you know, that type of client, more than likely to remember you, and they go when they need another document notarized, they're not going to call the person on Google who didn't handle this before. They're going to call you because you were knowledgeable, you knew your laws, you knew how to handle this particular situation. Because more times than not, a lot of folks don't really know how to either get in contact with a notary or how to make sure a document is signed in a particular way. So they're counting on you as a notary to actually know these things ahead of time. So
Exactly.
display your expertise in a sense, then like I said, that's gonna put you in demand and have them reach out to you again for repeat business.
That's right.
I want to tell that story real quick about that I've had numerous signings where clients for some reason just don't have a table nowhere for you to sign. Like that's like the most uncomfortable signing. So I had a refinance signing one time here locally. It's funny, you in San Jose, so I'm in Stockton. We about an hour and a half away from each other. So I didn't realize you was that close. Anyways, yeah, I had a refinance signing here locally in the city. Go to this client house, and the house is pretty small, but it's like, okay, we can still work with it. And I'm thinking we're gonna go into a kitchen, you know, to sign documents. And she lets me know, I was like, hey, I don't have a table. Great. So I was like, all right, well,
It's one of those.
yeah, it's one of those points. I was like, all right, I'm a professional. I got to do what I got to do. So while normally I like to have a set process to where if we're sitting at the table, I got the signer either sitting in front of me or to the side of me. I explain what the document is. I'm gonna pass it to you. You get it signed. You pass it back to me. And I got the stack right here. Like I have a process that I like to follow. But when we don't have a table and I got to sit on the couch over here and then you're sitting on this other side of the house, it gets a little weird. So she had a TV, but the TV stand, I had to pretty much stamp the documents on the TV stand. And I'm about 6'4", and the stand was so low, so I had to like dip below. My back is killing me. I'm on my knees trying to fill out this document and stamp it. Yeah, totally uncomfortable. It's not fun at all. Not fun at all. So yeah,
Stuff's like falling from like your lap, like you're like all crunched up like that. Like, oh my God. Yeah, trying to keep everything together.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely not fun, especially trying to keep the documents in order as well. When you don't got a table to work with and you sign it from your knees, and then you don't want to mess up the stamp. So you got to make sure you got something solid and flat that you can place your stamp on, right? So when you don't have that, it makes the job a little bit more difficult than usual.
Super difficult, yeah. And then especially when you have only one set of that document, if you don't have a table or anything flat and you mess up on that stamp, that's it. Like, I mean, it's not like that's it, but it just doesn't look good when you have to cross out and initial that stamp and do another one, right? Your client's gonna be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look good. Yeah, that's why it's always good, like I said, just to keep either additional copy or, like I said, just keep separate or loose certificates as well, so you can't avoid that problem, right?
Exactly. Also, maybe not stamp right away, and then at the end, just wait to find somewhere in their house that's flat, and then stamp everything all at once, rather than having to go through every time, right?
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. That's
actually a great idea. Also, I heard from my escrow officer that if you attach a loose to the deed of trust, then the county might charge but they will charge an extra $3 for an extra page. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, extra $3.
Yeah. Interesting. So that first signing, was that a loan signing, or what type of signing was it?
Yeah, it's just like any refi or a buyer doc. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're like, don't touch anything extra unless you have to, because the county will charge the borrower or buyer extra $3.
Got it. Yes, I'm gonna keep that in mind, because I did not even know that. I just thought when it's going to attach a jurat or acknowledgement, it should be, and then we should be good to go when they do record. Yeah, definitely ask your escrow officer too. It might vary by county, but at least that's what I know for Santa Clara County. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Right, so just transitioning on to you, like saying doing loan signings, right? Yeah. Like, what has that experience been like for you, like working in that space and the relationships you've been able to build over this time frame? Oh, okay. Just so I understand your question, you're asking, how's it been lately being a signing agent? Well, I mean, it's not lately, but just the duration of your career in general. Like I say, you do loan closings, right? I know right now it may be a little shaky as far as the industry goes, But as far as like when you first got into it, like what's a better question to ask? Better question would be asked is how have you been able to establish and build those relationships so you can get loan closings? Because I know that's really a question that a lot of notaries want to hear.
Oh, absolutely. I love this question. Back then, I feel like it was really hard to find clients because you're gonna have to walk into the offices. Well, I mean, it's not hard. Okay. Yeah. It's simple but not easy. Like you go into back then I would go into the office, bring my treats, bring my smile, bring my energy, and have things to talk about. And if things get awkward, what do I talk about next, right? I'm always thinking about how the conversation will play out and what's my exit to the conversation. So it's leaving the client, the potential client, the escrow officer, in a positive mood, and they remember me as a happy, smiley person, right? That they want to work with. So I don't do that as much anymore. But I mean, I still drop into offices and, bring treats, say hi, and just check in, right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I have to do that as much now to find new clients. What I'm doing now that it's slower, I'm thankful for that, because now I don't have to rush to my next appointment and actually sit down with the signer, talk about their day, and give them a pleasant experience so that they can go back to their realtor and their escrow officer and the launch. They're like, wow, that notary was amazing. Versus back then, I was always like, yeah, that's great. Like I would have a conversation, but it's kind of like rushed, right? So now again, talking to the signers, making sure they're happy, taking those pictures, because that back then I would do like 7 to 8 appointments, and then I wouldn't have time to take pictures for like my realtors and do all that marketing stuff for them. And now I feel like I can actually reach out to loan officers and realtors for that transaction and just chit chat with them and let them know how happy their clients are. So I mean, there's good, bad too, slow and really busy.
Got it. Now, do you think, like for a beginning notary starting off, do you think they should just hammer it out just like every single day, just dropping in title companies, just introducing themselves, or is something where it should be where they should focus on, okay, let's just do this once or twice a week, follow up, and then rinse and repeat that process?
Yeah, I'm thinking back to when I would walk into the offices with my treats, right? I would hit up 3 offices a day, and then well, actually, let me backtrack. Even before I started hitting up those 3 offices, let's say it's a Monday, right? I need to get some motivation. So I love to go on Mark's Monday 12 p.m. trainings and just ask him like, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. Like, I'm feeling really nervous. Like, talk to me, right? I don't know if you ever talked to Mark, but he's just very like energetic and like, he's gonna tell you like straight up, okay, this is what you gotta do. I'm gonna give you a minute. This is what I'm gonna tell you, and you're gonna be successful at this. You can do this, girl. And I love it. And so I'm going out to all my offices. I'm bringing that energy. And then after I leave every office, I grab those business cards and I make sure to let everyone know, hey, like there are treats in the office. Don't forget to grab some. They're fresh. I don't like eating donuts, but like fresh bagels. And I just go into my whole spiel, right?
Yeah.
And then I've gotten the signings from those before. I mean, don't expect that every time, because sometimes it's quiet. Or they'll just say, thank you, right? We'll get you on the next one. But maybe I'm trying to think what would I do after that. I think I was just pretty lucky back then that they would reach out. And then my next office that would hit up, rinse and repeat again. And then, sorry, I'm kind of thinking what I do. And I think just sealing the deal, that email afterwards. And as far as follow-up, I would just send an email the next week and then follow up with treats the week after that. Yeah.
And one thing I like about what you're saying right now is like you found a plan and you follow through with it. Like you trusted your strategy and follow up. And another thing too, I want to add on is like you had patience as well. I think a lot of people don't have patience. Like they think, we think, oh, I'm gonna stop by the office. I'm gonna drive by some treats. Okay, I should be getting business by next week. And that's typically not how it works, because with loan closings, you in a sense, you got to kind of be perfect. Like your attention to detail needs to be very on point, because I don't care what you've done. Like you can brought trees, you could have done this, you brought great energy. But if you get to that signing and you missed a signature or you missed a spot here, I mean, the chances of them calling you again is highly unlikely, right? So you got to be really on point. You got to pay attention to those details, because again, you want to be able to continue to get business moving forward. So if you can prove to them hey, I pay attention to the details. I go through these documents thoroughly. I know how to explain the purpose of these documents. I saved you the time of having to spend time on the phone with the client trying to figure out what's the purpose of this document, how to fill this out. Right, you're going to continue to get repeat business moving forward.
Right, absolutely. You hit it right on the head. Yeah, I remember there was this office that I was in a parking lot, and like I just couldn't go in. It was so scary, and then I was so ashamed of myself that day. I was like, damn, I can't even like go in here and just say hi to people. Like, what are they gonna do? Just tell me like leave or something? Like that's the worst thing they could do, or what's the best thing that could happen? Like they could be repeat clients. And also I want to mention, it's really good to ask like your spouse or or your partner or your partner's friends if they know anyone in loans or escrow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that my boyfriend is like the connect for me because like his aunt ended up working at Fidelity. And I ran into her. It was so crazy. I was like, dropping off docs for this one office in that building. And then I was going down the elevator and then I was passing by someone. I was like, oh my God, that person looks so familiar. And then I turned around and then she was like, this lady was like, gong, which is like you in Vietnamese, like to talk to like a younger person. And then she was like, oh my God, I work on the 4th floor. So she introduced me. So, I mean, a lot of people work in loans and, escrow. So definitely don't feel scared to ask your friends and family to introduce you because they already built that trust, like your partner or whoever, they already built that trust with that person. So leverage that for sure. And they will definitely talk you up. And it's not only that, but it's like my boyfriend's cousin's husband's I don't know. Anyways, there's a loan officer that shared the same last name as someone, and I was like, wait a second, are you related to this person? And then it was all because of my boyfriend, who's really connected me with a bunch of people. So thank you, boyfriend.
Shout out to them. Yeah, it's important. And that's you just brought up something really important, the importance of relationships.
Yeah.
And that's something I didn't realize coming into the notary business, where it's really a relationship business. It's sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. So be able to, like I said, be around people that's like centers of influence, connect with people that's connected to your target market, who you want to work with. Like take that time to build that relationship with them. What are some things that you can do to to add value? What problems do you happen to solve, or and vice versa, right? So that's the lesson. The relationships, and like I said, you'll see those doors start to open for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And let everyone know that you're a notary and post like your day in the life so that people on Facebook remember you as a notary girl or guy.
Facts.
Yeah.
So talk about what was, and I'm going to backtrack just a bit, what were some of those early challenges for you in your notary career?
Yeah, the earliest challenges has got to be like my mindset for sure, because I'm working through trying to be more comfortable in my own skin. I do my best to be as confident as I can and be the person that I want to be, which is to be social and, outgoing and, I just said confident. And in the beginning, when you're starting a new business and you've never done that industry for like signings, right? It's hard to be confident and convey that to people. I definitely felt huge imposter syndrome. And I still feel it to this day. And I felt like I was lying to people and it felt so bad. I was like, oh, I really want to be, but then I told myself I'm not lying to people saying that I can do this and that I'm confident because that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like positive affirmations, right? It's like, I am rich, but it's like, you're not rich yet, but like, you will be that person, right?
Speaking into the universe.
Exactly. And your mind is always going to tell you like, no, you're not, but it's like, I will be. That's how I'm trying to be. So you gotta think of who you want to be and like your better self and then just step into it. So yeah, that's been a trouble or challenge of mine. Even to this day, I'm still trying to work through it. And also in the beginning, it was definitely the follow-up. And I even think now the follow-up too. So I was always wondering, or not wondering, but I was thinking like, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to go into the offices and keep bothering them after the first time, But I feel like if you're bringing treats and you're like talking about stuff, like about your life and asking about them, like I think they would really appreciate it. So always come with value to their office. Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for sharing that. Mindset is so important, especially in entrepreneurship. Like I said, a lot of us, we know how to actually perform the service. We know how to do the things that we practice our, the things we know how to do these things, right? But the actual belief system, actually believing that we deserve their business, that we can actually pull this off. I think a lot of us, even me, I've had those moments, and I feel like I'm the most confident guy in the world. But even myself, I've had moments of doubt where it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of stretching myself to do something that I don't know if I'm capable of, right? But at the same time, you're not going to know unless you try, right?
Absolutely. Wow, I wouldn't have thought that. So you said that you still feel uncertainty too, because you seem so confident. Like I feel like you could just do whatever and you got it.
Yeah, of course. I've had moments of uncertainty, especially when like say you're trying to stretch yourself, you're trying to do things that not because I come from a family where we have some entrepreneurs or whatnot, but no one's done what I'm trying to do, right? So when I don't have no I don't have I don't have like the blueprint laid out for me as someone I could be like, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Have you dealt with this before, right? And then when you don't have no one who you can rely on, you in a position where it's like, all right, this is something that this goal that I'm trying to accomplish, this is pretty huge. I don't know if I could actually do this. This is a little bit scary, but I know if I don't attempt to do this, I'll never know, right? So of course I have my moments of uncertainty, like, but I'm gonna continue to always just believe in myself and continue to try. Because I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You failed.
Yeah, exactly.
It won't be the first time. It definitely won't be the last as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. That's really good that you shared that because I would have never thought. And it's funny that you mentioned that because yesterday or a couple of days ago, I ran into a notary and this is a notary that I've seen around and I always thought that she was like so perfect and that, I see this notary like go to parties with escrow officers and loan officers and just mingle. And I was like, wow, this person's like must be super booked and busy. And I'm sure they are, but they just had no fears about their business, right? Yeah. And then she was just sharing to me that, things were getting a lot slower and that if it continued to be like this, then she wouldn't know what to do and that she was having fears about, plan B, which is moving somewhere else and because she can't afford here. And I was like, wow, I had no idea this person was thinking that way. Like, because I always thought that I was the only one that was thinking or stressing so much, right? But it's like other people also stressing too. It's not just me.
Yeah.
So hearing your story and her, I'm sorry that you guys are feeling that way, but I feel less alone.
And that's the beauty of having these conversations like this, right? Because we surround ourselves with like-minded people. Like I said, you're not the only one. Like I think having a healthy dose of fear. Is good because that lets you know it's like you just can't sit around. Like this is what's going to happen if you don't do this, right? So I try to keep that in mind, right? Whether if it's something I want to accomplish, I can easily be like, man, that's pretty large. I don't know. This is something I should strive after, right? But I think about what happens if I don't do this. Because one thing about me is like I don't want to leave Earth thinking about having regrets about why I didn't do this, why I didn't do that. Why I didn't bet on myself, why I didn't have enough belief in myself to actually at least try to accomplish it at least, right? So I don't want to go to bed with those type of thoughts. So I much rather say, you know what, this is scary, but F it. I'm gonna go after it and and then just live with the results.
Yeah. And I'm sure doing that has made you so successful. I mean, look at you.
Thank you. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Awesome. What's your next goal that you got on your list there?
Well, you know what? I actually want to start like my own version of like a signing order or a snapdots. I want to get into that tech field because I think the notary business is ripe for innovation, in my opinion. As far as like on the technology space, that's something I would like to get into. But right now, I just been so focused on just growing this agency, continuing to bring on more notaries, and then just adding additional services as well. So I just been continuing to push myself and try to do what's impossible. I didn't think I'd be. It's funny. Transitioning to this conversation about having a signing service or just a notary agency in general. Like my goal coming into 2021 was to actually start a notary agency, but it's one thing to have a goal to actually do something, but it's actually another thing to actually have the actual plan to actually do it. So the goal was actually set it up, but I didn't have an actual plan of action to do it. it wasn't until my hands was forced where I actually said, okay, this is something I actually need to do. I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell you, right? So my commission was set to expire in October, and I was already supposed to renew it, but for some reason I waited to the month of to finally renew it. I don't know why. I don't know why. I waited to the month of to finally renew it because I'm thinking, because I'm gonna renew my commission. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna find out I'm gonna pass the same day. I'm gonna get my stamp within a week, and then the new commissions will come in that same week as well. No, that was not the case. So I didn't find until the day of. I was taking the exam. It's like, well, you're not gonna find out that you passed the exam for for the next 2 weeks, and then I won't find out that when I do find out I passed, then your commission and your stamp probably won't come in for another 2 to 3 weeks. So I'm like, wait. The only way I make money is by actually using my stamp. If I gotta wait for my stamp to come in, how I'm supposed to make money? I got kids, family, wife, everything to take care of. I'm like, how am I supposed to, do what I'm supposed to do? So luckily for me, I already had built a few relationships with some loan officers, or I built a relationship with a loan officer. And I had let her know, it's like, hey, my commission is set to expire, right? But I do have a relationship with a couple of notaries who can do your signings for you in case I'm not able to fill in for you, or I'm not able to fill it for you. So she said, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And luckily for me, I was already doing my due diligence already because I knew the commission was set to expire. So I was like, well, I might as well just try to start this agency now, or then try to, just network with other notaries within locally. So I was already reaching out to a few notaries on LinkedIn. I would typically post in like LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups, just, trying to attract title companies, loan officers, attorneys, whoever needed our services, right? And so when I did that, I would have my posts, and I would reach out to them directly to learn a little bit more about them, what services that they specialize in or whatnot. And so that same week, I did a one-on-one with shout out to Patty. Hopefully you're watching this when it comes out. I connected with Patty. We met at Starbucks, get to know her a little bit. And then I want to say that same week that I met her, we connected for a one-on-one. I had got one of my loan officers. She was like, hey, I got a refinance coming up. Can you get a notary for this one? And she was the notary I reached out to. And that was the birth of Stamper Signings. And that's how we've been. So
that's amazing that you've built those relationships and they trust you, because it's really hard for escrow officers to trust you as a signing service company. Like, that's completely different. Like, they trust you 120%. But when it comes to you as a manager for your notaries, like, it gets a little iffy, and then you're kind of starting over again. So that's amazing. How did you get them to trust you like that? Wow.
I think pretty much. I think from the gate, like, they knew what type of guy I was. Well, first of all, like I said, I'm again paying attention to the details. Like, every sign that I've done for them, for the loan officer that I was working with, I didn't miss anything. I try to pay real attention to the details, because I know that can mean that signing could be your last signing. Like, I don't want to be the reason why the buyers don't get their keys. I don't want to be the reason why the sellers don't get their money, right? I don't want to be the reason why. So I always kept that in mind. And so with them knowing that, they trusted me. She trusted me enough to say, hey, I believe in what you're doing. And then luckily for me, like I said, the notaries I was working with, Patty, and a few of them, name a few, like, they've done a great job for me. Now, that's not to say I had come across a few notaries where they just did, whoo, man. I've come across a notary before where, here's a funny story. I had a notary, what title? I forgot what title. Lennar Title. One of the escrow officers, she had a last minute signing she needed me to fill in Pilot Hill. I had never even heard of this city. Like, where the hell is Pilot Hill at? Where's that at? So,
is that in California?
Yeah, it's here in California.
Okay.
I didn't know that from in the beginning, right? But I was like, all right, well, I need a last minute signing. Can you fill this in for me? I was like, of course, I got you. Don't know where this place is at, but I was like, hey, I don't know where it's at, but I'm gonna take action and just hope for the best. So I ended up finding the guy for the signing. Dude, the guy, he's very professional. He's very professional. He followed up with me, let me know he confirmed the appointment. I was like, okay, yeah, we good to go. A couple of days later, one of the escrow officers, she got back to me. She's like, hey, we're missing a set of documents, and these documents are all wrong. Because that's like the last email that you want to get, right? So I was like, all right, well, let me figure out what's going on. I'll get back to you. So I reached out to the notary. I asked him, I was like, hey, dude, would you happen to have these, escrow hit me up today? They're missing a set of documents. Would you happen to know what you did with them? Did you do you still happen to have them? Because sometimes notaries, they may not have, you know, put all the they may have left them in their bag. They forgot to drop them off at FedEx, right? But he was like, let me check. He said, no, it's not in my bag. Let me go through the emails. They gonna find out he didn't even print out the documents. Oh man, he didn't print out the documents, and they were all wrong. So I was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it, man. So he was like, you know what? I'll hold that. That's my fault. You know, I'll take accountability for that. I'll handle it again, but I'll do it for free of charge. And so
wait. Well, what about those original docs that your escrow officer had? Like, what transaction was that for? A different one?
No, it was the same one. It was for a refinance.
But she said it was all wrong. Like he didn't sign in the right.
So I guess there were the loan docs, and then there were the escrow docs. He printed out the escrow docs, but he didn't print out the loan docs. And I guess the escrow docs weren't in order.
It's probably like, oh damn, this is like a really small package.
It was really light. So I was like, but they was like, you know what, it has to be, we need another notary assigned. It can't be him. So I was like, so I ended up letting him know that he can do it. So I went ahead and just took care of it. But yeah, I have a saying like, all notaries aren't created equal.
Yeah.
And not created equal. So yeah, running signing service is definitely difficult. It's not easy. Like I said,
it's not easy.
Make sure everyone is on top of their game. They know what you're doing. You gotta make sure they know what they're doing and everything. So yeah, it's definitely not easy.
How long did it take you to drive to Pilot Hill?
Well, actually, so the guy, we ended up meeting in where did we go to? We ended up meeting in Folsom. Because we actually, so the signing was in Pilot Hill, but the guy, I guess he was just getting off work and he worked in Folsom. So I was like, okay, that's a short drive from where I live at. So I just ended up meeting him at a Starbucks. We ended up getting a document signed. And I ended up dropping the documents off at title. So yeah, that was the experience. Yeah, I've had plenty of those experiences working with notaries.
Dang, was the buyer like pissed? Like, oh man, like I have to sign again?
Yeah, I mean, he was cool about it. He was like, he was cool about it because when he first seen the documents, like, yeah, this is not my first time doing this, and I thought the documents were a little light, but I didn't think nothing much of it. So it's like, man, I appreciate you for just being flexible and patient throughout this process. Because again, who wants to sit through a signing 100 pages or more? That's not fun. It's not fun.
That's definitely not how you want to spend your day.
Definitely not how you want to spend your day, but at the end of the day, I had to do what I had to do, right? So this is me. And I know you have your signing service team signings. Like, talk about what has that experience? How has that experience been for you? You know, starting your making that transition from, I don't know if you're still in the field, right? Still doing signings yourself?
Yeah, individually and trying to focus more on my signing service. Mm-hmm. By the way, that's amazing that you actually took the initiative, just go out there on your own and not just find another notary. That's great because you know that you can rely on your work. Yeah. And you know it's gonna go through successfully.
Yeah, I much rather me take care of it. Like if I got to drive an hour or two, it's like I much rather be the one to do it. Because if I hire somebody else to do it, I'm gonna be really nervous the second time around. And I don't want the anxiety or the stress. I'm like, okay, I trust the first person to do this the first time. Hopefully the second time it goes right. But I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna take that chance. Because keep their business moving forward. So I much rather do it myself and then, just learn from the mistake and move forward.
Yeah, that's good because now I'm sure they really appreciate that. And I hope you still get business from that client. It's
been a while since I've heard from them, but I mean, I don't really trip off it because now I've transitioned over to I still do loan closing. Like I did a commercial closing the other day from a repeat client, but the most of the assignments I get now are like working with like estate planning attorneys and personal injury attorneys as well. So I tend to get a lot more of that business than anything.
Oh, wow. Is that more lucrative and it's faster? Same price?
I would say it's faster. I would say it's faster for sure. It definitely keeps me busy because I guess, with COVID and everything, people are really having fears, about, their life and everything. So they want to make sure they get their personal affairs and all that stuff in order. So luckily for me, like I said, I've been able to, reap the benefits of that so far.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Awesome. Good for you. like divide, like it's like other streams of income under your stream of income. That's really good.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the notary business. Like I said, it's so much that it offers, whether it's loan closings, estate plan signings, medical authorization forms, vehicle release forms, power of attorneys, deeds. Like there's so much to offer. It's just a matter of like, okay, which one do I want to choose? What do I want to niche down in, and then just go after it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So your niche now is working with attorneys and personal injury lawyers, right?
Yeah, state planning attorneys and personal injury attorneys.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Nice. I think my niche right now is mainly just like, purchases for homes and sellers. I think that's what I'm used to. I'm more comfortable with, and I love and my escrow officers, they keep me really busy. My loan officers too, so I'm so thankful for them.
Yeah, those relationships are so key.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they even know, like, they're the reason why, like, we have our lights on, that we can eat, what I mean, have the lifestyle we want. Like, I don't know if they know that. That's why sometimes I'm like, I want to be an escrow officer so I can do that for someone, right?
Facts. Yeah, it's like I said, what we do is not easy. It's definitely not easy. That could be one of the most nerve-wracking things when you start your own signing service, just like managing the notaries, just making sure they're following instructions. Just the instructions alone, it's like sometimes I don't know, for some reason they don't read them. I'd be having to remind them, it's like, hey, we're missing Scambacks on this document, can we get that over to us as quickly as possible? So it's little stuff like that, but I mean, over time, we're only going to get better as we continue to move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Always trying to optimize, and if this didn't work well this time, how can we improve in the future? I'm always doing that with my signing service too, especially since I'm newer. I'm only been a signing service company for about 6 months. It's only started picking up in the last couple months. I mean, I don't know about you. How long have you been a signing service company?
Since October.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so October of 2021 is when we officially got. I like this. Well, I started in July, but I didn't officially get my first signing that we hired a notary for until October.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great that you were so patient. You didn't give up.
Yeah. I know at some point, I mean, because I was still doing the signings myself, so I knew at some point it was just only a matter of time. But like I said, when my commission was about to expire, I was like, okay, I need to kick this up.
Exactly. Yeah. How did you bring it up with your like, it just came up in conversation, or you just snuck it in there before you left? Oh yeah, by the way.
No, I just pretty much, because the one of the loan officers I was pretty much mainly working with, I had just let her know, like, hey, my commission is set to expire. Because I just wanted to let her know, like, right from the gate, like, yeah, my commission is set to expire. So I don't know if I'm not sure when it's going to come in. Like, I took the test. And at that time when I was talking to her, I wasn't aware of, I didn't know for sure when I would get my commission or when my stamp would come in. But I just wanted to let her know, like, hey, don't worry about it. I still have notaries that can actually take care of the signing for you. And then funny enough, the notary who I did hire for that signing, she knew her already.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, so it's like, oh, it's a small world. So it worked out after a while. So that's why it's really important to work with people who like and trust. Because if I don't, if you're a loan officer, I'm just, I'm so accustomed to working with my, the notary that I'm accustomed to working with, and then they, refer me to someone who I'm not familiar with. It could be a little shaky, but like I said, if it's someone that already, it's like, oh, cool. Oh, you already know them already. Thanks. Yeah, I have no worries that this is going to be taken care of, and there's not going to be any issues that come up.
Exactly, because it's your name. Yeah, and they trust you. Yep.
Right. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like you said, like your name, your reputation is on the line at the end of the day as well. So you gotta be very aware of who you bring on, like, for that particular signing.
Yep, exactly. And then I also feel like I love that you're posting pretty regularly too, so that your name is always top of mind with people. I love, because that's what I learned from being a real estate agent. People are not always buying houses 24/7, right? But you always want to stay top of mind, so that anytime they think real estate, they think that agent, or anytime they hear notary, they think Angel or Rafael, right? So yeah, always post and just to remind people, like, hey, I'm a notary.
That's being consistently posting, like I said, staying top of mind. Like I said, it's not easy, but like I said, if you continuously do so, when you think of a notary, like I said, if I'm seeing the person who's always posting, like I said, if it's Angel, it's like, oh, Angel, she just done this many, just booked these many appointments that she's working with these specific title companies. There's someone I need. Yeah, let me reach out to her. Let me see if she could possibly help us out. So yeah, that social media is key because everybody's on there anyway. So might as well take advantage of it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And then always remind people like what areas you service too, because sometimes like I'm looking for a notary in like New York, for example. So like I'll go on Instagram and I'll type in like New York notary and I'll just check out their page.
Yeah.
Or like I'll go to like, you know, the loan signing systems, like who Mark follows, and I'll try to see like who he follows and like the notaries that, yeah, because whoever he follows, I'm sure they're really good, right? So I type in New York notary and I find someone that way. So I think what I do now, I just updated my bio where I add San Jose, or I think I put Bay Area. That way, when people look up like Bay Area notary, my name will be part of the SEO, you know?
Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
And that's something I definitely want to bring up. Finding the notary, like what is that process like for you as far as like trying to find a notary for your clients?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when I get an order come in, I'm like, okay, I gotta be on my best A game, right? I want to find the best notary for this client, especially for this one that she gives me a ton of business. So she's very, 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 very particular, which I appreciate. And I love when she tells me I'm wrong, or not wrong, but like that I need to fix something, right? Or that the notary needs to fix something. And she's very direct, right? And I really appreciate it because how else am I going to learn, right? And it makes me want to step up too. So what I do is I get the order and she uses SnapDocs. And even before I was with this client, I would go on SnapDocs to look at people and check out their reviews. Reviews are so big to me. And I don't really have time because back then I would also like hit up like people like on Facebook or something, but then I need like social proof. I need to know like what they've done and what other people are saying. So I always go to SnapDocs first. I look at the notary at the top, but sometimes the notary people at the top of SnapDocs, they're either subcontracting it out. So be careful and make sure that that's the actual notary that's going to do the signing, or if they're subcontracting it. So those people that are at the top, they're either subcontracting it or they're hella busy and they're not going to have time. So I kind of like, you know, going through the top, I know they're probably not going to do the signing. And then like kind of a sweet spot is like in that middle top, like the middle of the top-ish. And I'm looking for their recent reviews. If I see like a thumbs down for something they did more than a year ago, and that's what we can see as signing service owners, what they like reviews more than a year ago. It's not going to be exact dates or like certain months. It's either going to say recently, a couple months ago, or more than a year. So I don't really care about more than a year, but it's like more like a couple months ago and recently. I want to make sure that they're nice and that they're not rude. That's like really important to me, customer service. And that they are like printing things correctly and that they're dropping things on time. Any thumbs down for recently or, you know, in a couple months, I am probably not going to go with them because I mean, like we went back to, right? It's like our name, right? And I just, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. But you can just jump in real quick.
I mean that's completely understandable. It's like, you know, if you see someone that recently had a thumbs down, it's like, I mean, and it's nothing personal at the end of the day. It's like I want to be able to work with you, be able to pass your opportunity, but you know, at the end of the day, we need social proof, right? And like I said, especially when it comes to like if it's like a general notary work form, or if it's like a legal document form, power of attorney form, something like that, yeah, you may have some type of legal aid, but when it comes to loan closings, all those documents, I'm sorry, but your attention to detail has to be on point. So not only that you can't miss anything, but on top of that, when you have to sign this house, you're going to be there for about an hour or so, maybe an hour and 30, depending on if they want to read every single page. You want to make sure you're building great rapport with this individual. You want to make sure you provide the best experience for them as possible, because again, you know, when you first come into it, when you first learning this, you know, you're typically the first person they see anyway. Like, you know, talk to the loan officer on the phone, they talk to escrow on the phone, but typically you're usually the first person that they see anyway. So you want to make a great impression, right? And typically escrow loan officers, they're gonna ask anyway. They're gonna ask you, how was the notary? The notary, you know, did they show up or did they dress professionally?
Yeah.
I had a situation where I had a signing in Nevada, and I confirmed the appointment with the signer. He was purchasing the property, and we had a really great conversation. And so I ended up hiring a notary for the signing out in Nevada. A couple of days later, so she reached out to me. She let me know that, hey, we weren't able to sign docs. There was some issues with the documents. Yeah, there was some issues with the documents, and I'm gonna have to come back. Like, all right. So I ended up just paying her for the travel fee. And so I ended up calling. Usually, what I like to do is I follow up with the clients just to ask, how was your experience with the notary? How did everything go? So I called the gentleman back. He didn't answer the phone, so I didn't think nothing that much of it. So I followed up with him a couple of days later. And he was like, hey, I appreciate you giving me a call. I knew you called the other day, but I didn't want to answer your phone because, I was pretty pissed off and I didn't want to, be on the phone with you while I was mad. I was like, oh, what happened? He's like, well, that notary that you brought over here was horrible. It's like, she came over here first. She showed up in a sweatsuit. She had Uggs on. I was like, when you said Uggs, I was like, oh man, no way did she show up in Uggs. And yeah, she showed up in Uggs. She showed up in a sweatsuit. Wasn't professional. She was very rude to my wife. She didn't understand the documents, so she called the title company and was like just like complaining to the title company about the documents. And so we didn't even sign anything, and she just left. I was like, oh, so that's like the last thing that you want to hear, because again, whoever you hire is a representation of your company, right? And so I had to like explain to the guys, like, yo, he was like, I'm very surprised, you sounded very professional, you were very nice, and so I was just like blown away when this notary came over here, and she was like the complete opposite. So he ended up reaching out to me directly. So I ended up refunding him his money, because I was like, if we did a horrible service, I'm not gonna take your money. Here, take your money back. I'm gonna give you a refund. And that notary, I was like, yeah, I'll never call her again for any signing in Nevada. So yeah, learning lessons, a lot learned along the way. But yeah, whoever you hire is a reflection of your agency. If you're going to start a signing service, please keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Wow, that's insane. I love that you refunded the money though. Like, you see that is gonna go a long way for him.
Yeah.
And it's gonna come back tenfold. So don't even worry about it. I mean, you're not worried about it, but I'm just saying that's really good.
I will. Yeah, like I try. I try to operate on principle. Like if we, if I did a horrible job for you, like, no, I'm not gonna take your money. I'm not gonna be like, okay, well, my bad, right? I'll give you your money. Okay, my bad. Well, how can we resolve this situation, right? It's like, nah, I wouldn't be able to sleep good at night just thinking about I just took this person's money and I didn't do a great job, because we professionals at the end of the day. I take pride in if you're a professional, you're obviously gonna take pride in what you do. So I want to feel good about, earning my keep. I don't want to take your money and then I did a horrible job. I missed a signature. I brought somebody over to your home that wasn't like. How do you come into a person's home and you're rude to their wife or their spouse in general? Like, how do you have the nerve to do that, right? So
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of lessons I've learned along the way. So I get really particular about the people the notaries I do bring on for these signings that we do have.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. That is, yeah, I've never heard of that before. I was in a sweatsuit.
that was wild. That was really wild. I never seen that before. Like, I could see if you had jeans on. Even then, it was like, okay, don't wear jeans, right, or sitting shoes, but Uggs and a sweatsuit in Nevada. Isn't it hot out there? It's like dry out that way. What was that about?
I know. Oh my gosh. How do you find your notaries? Like, are you like how do you find their reviews? How do you know they're good?
Mm-hmm. So typically what I do is I have my Facebook group, Stamper community. And so pretty much what I do is I just encourage notaries to be a part of that network, because I don't use SnapDocs. I don't use signing order. So I like, because just for the reason why I was able to review them, I was able to see, the notaries that was in the area or whatnot. And then from what I was seeing, I was like, oh man, I'm not hiring any of these notaries. Look at these reviews that they've got. And it was a lot of them like in my area. I was like, oh no, I much rather do this in-house, and if I do it in-house, in my community, and then, I do the trainings as well. So if you come into our training workshops and I see you actually, investing in you're investing in your craft and you want to be great at what you do, you're someone I want to work with. And then of course I go to the reviews as well. And so yeah, I invite them to the Stamper community. I'll post an upcoming and available assignment within the group. And if they say they're available, already got their email, already got their phone number, so I just reach out to them directly. Just include instructions. Everything you would typically go through with signing order and SnapDocs, I follow that same process, but I just do it in-house. And that's a way for me to yeah, to get these orders filled. And then if they do a great job, those are the same people who I want to reach out to again.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Cause yeah. So how do you get how do you join that group? I want to join.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's on Facebook, STAMPIN community. Yeah, what I'll do is yeah, once we wrap up, I'll shoot you the link, and then of course we would love to be able to have you in there because it's not sometimes it's just not myself that's passing signings in that group as well. It's other notaries in there that even came through the STAMPIN Academy with their students, and they're passing out signings as well. So I like to look at it as like it's like a marketplace for notaries, whether whether I have a signing coming up or whether someone has some signings available or someone needs a witness for a signing. I've even had some people in their posts of like wedding officiant services that they need someone to perform a wedding as well. So I just want to create. I just wanted to create an environment where, it's a lot of snooty Facebook groups out there where people are really sarcastic out there, and I don't want to be a part of an environment like that. So I much rather create something where you can come in. If you got any questions about a particular service or how to do such and such, you can get the answers that you need. And if we have a signing coming up, we'll give you the opportunity to be able to fill that order in as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Like you're such a leader. I wouldn't have the balls to do something like that. That takes a lot of work to create, cultivate, and manage, right?
But you're doing it now though.
What? What do you mean? It's just me though. It's just me on my Instagram, my TikTok, but I don't have a community like you. That's amazing. I definitely want to join.
Yeah, of course. We'd love to have you. Of course.
Cool. Awesome. Yay.
Yeah, so just wrapping up, this has been awesome so far. One thing I always like to ask before we wrap up is where do you see team signings in the next 5 to 10 years?
Whoa, it's like an interview question. Oh my God, I haven't thought of this. I haven't thought of this. 5 years. What's gonna happen in 5 years? Oh shoot. Oh man, I feel terrible that I don't know. I mean, I definitely want to have a day, I definitely want to have more signing service appointments and do less of my own individual ones. And then just expand in the rest of the country. But I haven't thought about that, Nathaniel.
No worries.
I guess just get bigger, but that's such a vague and lame answer. Oh my God. I mean, I'm really cool with just not you have an amazing vision. You want to do the whole platform dashboard, Snap Docs and stuff. That's amazing. For me, it's more I just want to be the best signing service company boutique that I can to my clients.
Yeah. There's something wrong with that, ain't there?
Yeah, thank you.
Definitely nothing wrong with that.
I appreciate that.
It's definitely nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you want to be, I think that everyone, whatever your vision, that's your vision. Who cares what anybody else thinks? I think that's another thing as well. I've had to realize, your vision is your vision. What you want to do with your life is what you want to do. And there's nothing wrong with being the best at what you want to do. If you want to do more, less signing, you want to do less individual signings and pass out more and go nationwide, God damn it, go for it.
God damn it, go for it.
I don't think that's nothing that should be looked down upon, because like I said, everyone has their own goals, they have their own dreams of what they want to do, and the only thing you can do is respect that and help them get to that point, at least in my opinion.
Oh, I love that, Nathaniel. Thank you. Yeah, I think, personally, I think I need to think more like a company, right? So at least as far as my goals for me in 5 years, I want to replace, I want to have, okay, let's talk money real quick, but I want to be able to make 100,000 a year just off my signing service company. Yes. And then just do little signings here and there. But as far as the company, I really got a journal about that lately. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
We'll do part 2.
We'll do part 2. I love it.
So just where can the people find you? Where can they get in touch with you? Where can they reach out to you for your services?
Oh yeah, thank you. So you can look me up Instagram, TikTok, Team Signings plural, and my website teamsignings.com. That's it.
I want to say thank you to my guest Angel for stopping by today to the Stamper Podcast. Gave us a value. I appreciate you and your story. This was one of the best interviews I've done this year. Top 5, definitely. It's not often I get to I get to conversate with other signing service owners as well. So this was a privilege. I appreciate you for stopping by.
Oh my gosh, the pleasure is all mine, my friend. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can talk more after this. We can become buddies.
Of course. Before I jump off, gotta let you guys know we make sure you enroll in the Stampin Academy. We got, if you want to learn about apostilles, you want to learn how to launch your own notary agency, you want to book more loan closings, you want to know how to create your first digital product, you want to book estate plan signing, make sure you tap in with the Stampin Academy. We do weekly live classes. You get lifetime access to 10+ hours of pre-recorded sessions, so you can learn at your own pace. And also, when you do enroll in the Stampin Academy, you will get an exclusive invite to the Stamper community where you get the opportunity to earn while you learn. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to this on Apple and Spotify, make sure you give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review as well. And then also, and that's something I want to include here as well. Who do you want to see be interviewed on the Stamper Podcast? Leave a comment. Make sure you tap in with us as always. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thanks, Angel. And until next time.
Thank you. You heard the man. Thank you. Bye.